if you meet an individual who is just very true to themselves and say what's on their mind, some people may feel threatened by that, or they may feel intimidated by it. Hi everyone, welcome back to Shama Saba. Have you ever noticed that a certain type of individual tend to never have friends, or maybe not have that many? Or does it sound like you? If so, I can tell you why. But before we begin, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. In a world where social connections are often defined by superficiality and transactional exchanges, the pursuit of genuine connections have become increasingly difficult. So today we'll delve into the complexities of loneliness and why certain individuals who yearn for true authentic connections are often left adrift in the sea of loneliness and superficiality.
Amount of friends. Going on TikTok before I go to bed, right? I see this post right here, why I notice real people barely have friends. I see that shit and I'm like, damn, everybody that I can think of that hangs around with like a big ass group all the time, they're not really genuine. And why is that? I think there's a huge difference between a general personality and a genuine personality.
So if you are an individual who's looking for authentic connections, it may be a bit difficult for you because in our culture, especially in America, it's really based off on quantity over quality. When you're past the teenage ages, and especially when you're past college ages, so sometimes it's a bit difficult for individuals who are looking for authentic connections to find like-minded individuals, because in our days, be getting a friend that has XYZ from them instead of who the individual is. So research from social psychology and cultural studies suggests that individuals who are looking for authentic connections may struggle because not many in society are looking for that. We live in a culture that rewards self-promotion and surface level interactions. So you may have an individual, for example, this girl. So she may say that I am looking for a person that is authentic and I can be myself with. I don't have to wear a mask and they accept me for who I am, my quirks, my kinks, everything about that. Or you may have another individual who says, I find it very hard to meet individuals because a lot of times people are trying to be very polished, have to say the right things, or that they cannot trust certain types of individuals. Or you may have this third character where they can't find anyone because they tend to just like to be alone. They probably have always been hurt. They've been did bad by a lot of types of people in the past, and they just started to just love themselves for who they are, and they have a friend in themselves. And so it could be a lot of types of reasons why people are not having a lot of friends. Maybe they have one to two or none at all. So in a culture that equates vulnerability with weakness, and you have an individual who's being authentic and they're being direct and expressing who they really are, they're not having like double word meaning, because a lot of times people, they are talking, you will have to try to figure out, okay, when they say this, is this what they're meaning? And so if you meet an individual who is just very true to themselves and speak their truth and say what's on their mind, but not in a disrespectful manner, some people may feel threatened by that, or they may feel intimidated by it. Some people that just see the social games and they just don't want to be a part of that. Sometimes some people, they just see people as equals, and they don't like to play the social hierarchy, making people feel that they're more important than what they actually are. Or I'm actually telling them how they actually feel about certain types of things, having boundaries, and a lot of different types of social groups. Some type of individuals cannot accept that. Some people feel intimidated about it or threatened by it because it's not what they're used to seeing, because the society and the world, it is a game. You can play the game, you can step back from the game, or you can control the game. Again, I do want you guys to know that it is a strength to be vulnerable. It's a strength to be honest, and it is a strength to be real with people. Don't ever think that it is a bad thing. You just have to find the people that is like-minded.
Surround yourself with people who are facilitating your development. You know, and you might say, well, I've got people around, I know them well, you know, they're not doing that well, and they don't fit into that category. It's like, what's your point?
And by doing so, I'm going to give you guys a few suggestions of how to find like-minded individuals. So the very first one is to trust your instinct. If you come across a person, let's say that you meet this individual and you guys, it was pretty cool, you thought they were pretty cool, but you kind of feel that this individual, you don't really know them, they kind of feel that they're kind of forcing the friendship on them, but then something telling you about like, oh, this doesn't feel too real. I feel that we need to take it down. I don't really know you yet. I don't want to hang out with you every day. You know, when you see a person just trying to force something on you, regardless if it's friendship, it could be anything, take a step back, because that person may just be trying to like love bomb or friendship bomb you. So in that case, just trust your instincts, because your instincts will know a person who's good or just bad. And I know this sounds very obvious, but just be authentic. When you're being true to yourself, you'll bring out people who resonate with that, and they may see themselves in you, and so you attract people that is just like you. Next thing I would say is engage in deep or meaningful conversations. And so if you're not into the small talk or the superficial conversations with people, ask the why. In my previous video, I said about I don't like talking to people, and I've been working on this, and it is by asking why. So go into deep conversations with people. If they don't want to go deep with you, then you can exit out of there. You can, like, you're cool and everything like that, but don't just stop there with that person and think that, oh, everyone's like that. There are some individuals who do like to have deep meaning conversation, especially introverted people, because a lot of times introverted people spend a lot of time to themselves, and so they're in their minds, they're always doing a lot of deep thinking. So yeah, just don't give up and just find people that do like to have deep meaningful conversations, but don't force it on the person right then and there, like, oh, the very first time you're talking with them, like, oh, what do you think the meaning of life is? Just try to work your way into that. And it's a skill, but over time, if you keep practicing that, it'll be normal. So observe nonverbal cues. This kind of ties in with the whole trusting your gut thing, because when you are around a type of person kind of shady, they will give off certain types of energy, or they will tell you who they are. You just have to pay attention to what people are doing and the things that they're not saying. And so if a person is genuine, a lot of the times they would have this energy of acceptance. And there's like a warmth, and there's like a calm demeanor that a lot of times genuine people tend to have. And so pay attention to that, and maybe you can spark something, maybe like a dynamic or friendship dynamic can spark in between that. So just pay attention to the nonverbal cues. Next thing I'll say is to get a hobby. Maybe it's a social hobby, or join different types of communities. And so like where I live at, there's different types of meetup groups, and there will be hiking groups, there will be yoga groups, there will be women that likes to go to have brunch together, there'll be women that likes to take Pilates classes together. Or if you don't want to look for a meetup group, you can just, if you're into fitness, go to the gym when they have like different gym classes, and you just go there over time. Any type of thing that you feel that you are into and that you're maybe passionate about, you can easily find someone there. They may share the same passions or interests as you. Now, if you're a type of person that you may like to go to the gym, I'm just gonna be honest. It depends on the level of if you're a genuine person and you may be into, let's say, deep thought and deep conversations, or you may be into talking about science. Go to places where like you feel that a lot of who you are and your character are is like that. And so if it's like a small hobby that you may have, and it's like, oh, it's cool, I just do this, but it's not who you really are. Let's say, for example, if you are really into spirituality, and you can find a group that is very about like really deep into that spiritual world, you can look that up, and that is where you could possibly find someone that is very like-minded in the whole belief of what you are. So don't just like choose like a small little hobby of like, oh, I like to work out, but there are so many people who like to work out, and then so that doesn't really align you up to a person that's kind of more similar to who you are, if that makes sense. And so be vulnerable, which is very similar to being authentic. So just open up, be true to people, express how you feel. If a person is telling you, if they open up and they telling you something about themselves, don't just sit there and let them tell them about themselves. Open up a little bit of something too, to give them too, so they can develop, so you guys can develop a connection. So no, I'm not saying like go into like your past traumas and like trauma spill. If a person's being vulnerable with you, open up a little bit too for them as well. So that's how you can connect with individuals, and you can just possibly form a friendship with that person. But again, when I'm giving you guys these types of inputs, these suggestions, just try them all out. And if it doesn't work with one person, move on to the next people. And it's a learning game. It's a skill that you have to develop. And if this is what you want, this is a skill that you develop. And so just keep practicing, because eventually you may be just finding a lot of genuine people. Next, I would say is to be a good listener. If a person is telling you something, it is always good to actively listen to them. So follow up with something. If they're telling you about, oh, I had a crazy sequence of events that happened to me when I came here. So it's always good to say, oh, okay, this happened. Okay, so what more? What else happened after you got here? Like, what was the highlight of that? So pay attention to what people say. Do not make the conversation about you after they tell you something, because it's kind of, I see this a lot with people when they would tell another person something, and then they will just like the other person will go and tell them about their problem. And a lot of times they're not meaning anything by that, but it's just to pay attention what this other person's saying. And then once that person's done, then talk about yourself if you guys have the time to, but not like when they are expressing something, because maybe they just need someone to be there for them at that time. And it also associates a person with something positive when, you feeling heard and you're being listened to. So everyone wants to be listened to and everyone wants to be heard. So just, be patient, listen to the person, actively listen to them, and then speak to them, and then tell them about your problems and issues. So if you are here, I'm pretty sure that you are going to be genuine in your intentions. It's just to form friendships with people that will actually be there, people that they can talk to, people that can call on. And not saying that it is bad to have a person that you can just be friends with. Those type of relationships seems kind of a little bit transactional, unless you both come to the agreement that you guys, this is the sole purpose of your friendship, it's just to work out together. But if you're watching this video, just be genuine in your intentions. Don't try to be friends with a person because you want something out of it, or you only friends with this person because you want to be closer to this celebrity, or you want to be closer to this guy that you like, or you want to be friends with this person because you want to be seen a certain type of way. Be friends with a person because you like who the person is, and you can see a little bit of yourself in the person, or you may admire this person. If you find yourself to be not having that many friends and you find yourself to be alone, remember that you are unique, you are valuable just as you are, and there is someone that's out there that's gonna love you and accept you just the way you are, with all your quirks and all your kinks and all your weird little oddball ways, and be exactly how you are. Remember to allow your true self to shine. Do not dim your light for anyone. And if you feel that you don't have anyone, again, you are very worthy. You are very important. Everything about you is still good. All right, guys, in the comment section, I would like for you guys to do is to write down at least 3 of the steps that I did mention about which ones are you going to take in the comment section. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys connect with me. Follow me on Instagram because I put my Instagram in the description. And as always, peace.